Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, and Kill the Justice League has been killed. Yeah, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is ending less than 1 year after it launched. I don't think this is going to surprise anyone who's been following the situation. This has been a massive, massive money loser for Warner Brothers and Rocksteady, and I don't know what's going to happen to this company. I don't know, guys. We're going to talk about this a little bit. I actually skipped over it, but yeah, I think it's worth talking about the decline of Suicide Squad. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, check out clownfish-com for more merchandise and exclusive content. This came from The Verge. It was a couple days ago, and it only got 4 comments. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about this game. And this is after the game went on sale for like next to nothing on Steam. It wound up being what, like $1 or $2? It was 95% off, and yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that. Oh, it's $3.50. Jeez, you can't even give it away. So, coming from The Verge, the Suicide Squad game's final season is coming less than a year after launch. The new season starts tomorrow, and the game's final episode will debut in January, and offline mode is being added too. They should have done that at the beginning. Might have helped it a little bit. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League only came out in February, but the game's final season, which starts tomorrow, is going to be its last. Season 4, Episode 7 launches on Tuesday, and Episode 8, which is set to release on January 14th, 2025, will serve as the last seasonal episode for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, developer Rocksteady announced on Monday. So after the release of the final content, the game will still be available to play online according to Warner Brothers Games FAQ. But the game is also getting an offline mode tomorrow, which had been previously announced, though without a specific date beyond 2024. The game has had a troubled history. The game was that is putting it mildly. The game was originally set to release in 2022 before being delayed multiple times, and a largely unsuccessful launch. In our review, we said the game hides its brash personality under a generic looter shooter resulted in Warner Brothers announcing in May it lost over $200 million on the game. $200 million on the game. What is it going to take? What is it going to take for these studios to finally wake up and realize that these games, these DEI-infused games, this is one that Sweet Baby Inc. worked on, if I remember correctly. What is it going to take for them to realize that these games are all losing money, that they need to pivot back to profit? Are they going to have multiple like $250 million losses to get it through, that this is not what gamers want? And yeah, this person said it should have been a slam dunk. The Suicide Squad movie was good, but they got it absolutely wrong. They got it wrong. This person here said they got for $10 last month. Yeah, it's actually so cheap now, or was cheap. I don't know if it still is. Nope, it's still full price. It's full price now. So you had a chance to get for $3.50 a couple of days ago on Cyber Monday, and if you passed on that opportunity, you got to pay $69.99 for it. So this is coming from Kotaku. This is funny. The real tragedy is that much like Concord, the core game underneath Suicide Squad is fine. Not good, not hatefully bad, just fine. It then wasted this foundation with monstrously repetitive missions, misusing its excellent combat for dreary grinds, and a gruesome endgame that meant it wildly failed to deliver on the live service promises. People did not want to see, speaking of endgame, people did not want to see Batman, Kevin Conroy's Batman, executed the way that he was in the game. Yeah, the game was called Kill the Justice League, but it was only a year or two after his death. And, there they were shooting Batman in the head. They said, after an extensive sales pitch, you want to play it now? No, of course not. At least Kotaku admits it. When I tell you it's possible to find out what everyone's so annoyed about for a cost of a Pepsi, you're a little tempted, right? Yeah, I guess it's worth it for $3.50. Jeez. So this is coming from Business Insider, and this was back when the game failed. So I'm going to remind you why this game is they're having the plug pulled on this game, why it's dead. Business Insider, why a failed video game cost Warner Brothers $200 million. The guy who wrote the article said, did you play Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League in February? He said, me neither. And the problem from Warner Brothers, which released the game, is that very few people did. And the ones who did really didn't like it. And that led the company to take a staggering $200 million loss on the game, which it disclosed in its first quarter earnings on Thursday. WBD's chief financial officer, Gunnar Wiedenfels, described the game's results as disappointing. Yeah, this is coming right after Hogwarts Legacy. That was the game that all the gaming journos told you had to boycott, right? The company repeatedly pointed out the impact of the game's failure on its bottom line, particularly since a year ago it had a massive hit with Hogwarts Legacy. That was supposed to be a huge failure because everybody hates J.K. Rowling as much as gaming journos, right? All of which points out something the game industry has been grappling with for some time. It looks more and more like Hollywood. That means, yeah, it places very big bets on would-be blockbusters, which are increasingly tied to intellectual property that's been successful in the past. When it doesn't work, when it works, it's great. When it doesn't, yeah, actually, what has sucked all the oxygen out of the room and a game that I've actually seen commercials for, trailers for, lots of advertising for, is the Batman VR game, which I have not played yet. I think my son has. I think he got it. But yeah, the Batman VR game, which people say is very, very good, is pretty much the heir to the Arkham saga. And yeah, I mean, it's just not, it's not good, guys. I don't know what to tell you. This is definitely a post-mortem here. So this is kind of vindication for some people. This is Gabe El Taib, who worked for DC Comics, got ousted from DC Comics, I think. He said that they insulted the work he did on the Arkham City franchise, the people at Rocksteady Games and Sweet Baby Inc. And a year later, we have a $200 million waste of a game and incoming studio layoffs. Turns out he was right. Yeah. I mean, everybody kind of called this. Everybody called that this was going to happen. We're actually getting to this pretty late, but yeah, it is over. It's game over for Suicide Squad. This is interesting. This is Hypnotic. He said, Suicide Squad's officially dead. Remember all the shills who said the game was fine? Yeah. Remember when people said the grifters were just rage baiting and that the game had plenty of players on console to support the game for years on end? Remember then they called us liars because we mocked the game and its dumb decisions and terrible release quality, both in-game and server side. Yeah, get fucked. RIP Sushi Squad. Yeah, I mean, this always happens. And you can see it going down in real time, especially in the gaming space, the nerd space, is that, you know, they're very quick to defend a particular piece of corporate product. Now, whether or not there's a financial incentive or they just want to do it to be contrary or the hits or whatever the problem is, right? Whatever the deal is. And 9 times out of 10, it turns out the gamers were right. Almost always the gamers were right. And they withhold their money. And I think Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be a massive, massive failure too. For sure. I think that one's going to be a failure. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. They were right about Star Wars Outlaws. Huge failure. We're right about Concord, huge failure. And yeah, we're right about Suicide Squad. So I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.